This is Our View, brought to you by the members of the Washington Federation of State Employees. For more than 100 years, Harborview Medical Center in Seattle has stood as a beacon of hope for patients, many of them poor. Now the University of Washington, which runs Harborview under a contract with King County, has come under fire for the way it treats its workers and for other practices that jeopardize the quality of patient care. A recent town hall meeting gave workers and stakeholders a chance to give their blunt recommendations to the King County Executive and County Council, who are reviewing the UW's soon-to-expire contract to run Harborview.
We do what we can for the wages we get. We have the skills, but they don't seem to be able to include respect with that. And that's what we're asking the King County Council to hold the U of W responsible for this if they're going to give them this contract. And the last thing is pay. You know, there's a lot of people not making $15 an hour. We tried to get this at our contract with the U of W, and this included Harborview and U of W MC. The most they would go would be they'd bring people up to $12 an hour starting in July 2015, and that was it. And you know how many members? We've got 3,000 members. That raise up to $12 an hour is going to affect 31 people. I mean, that's atrocious. That's a shame that the University of Washington, with as much money as they make on those two medical centers and on main campus, can't afford to bring the wages up to more than $12 an hour. Thank you.
I think the method of the management at Harborview is, or the UW is, scare them, intimidate them, bully them, make them afraid. And how can you help someone when you're scared? If someone's here with their heart open and you need to tend to them, but you're scared because your manager said that they're going to fire you or lay you off or cut your hours, you can't give good quality service. And this is what's going on. We had about 8 people that retired, and instead of replacing the people, they hired on 5 more managers, and no one's doing the work. So they're saying, hey, do this job, do this job, do this job. So we're doing 2 jobs in 1 person. And this is how the management of the UW is pushing it. And when we go to the JLMs, when we talk to the management, it falls on deaf ears. And it's not fair to be known in the whole city as top skilled people, but in the background, we're treated like peasants, animals. And I don't think I should have to come to work and work my hardest and pour my heart out to be treated like an animal. And that's how I feel when I come to work. And it shouldn't be like that. So I came here today just to let someone know that they have to address this problem because it's spreading like cancer. And if we don't stop it now, the quality of the service that we're giving people is not going to be the best quality that we're capable of doing.
AFL-CIO President Rich Trumka spoke the day after the recent election and found a very mixed message for America's workers.
Well, Democrats took a licking yesterday, but the workers' agenda sure didn't. In fact, it shines brighter today and is even more urgent. Voters spoke very clearly in yesterday's election. They want an economy that works for them and works for their families. Now, data show that more people heard an economic message from Republicans than Democrats. It was a lousy message. Only 29% think that Republicans have a clear plan for the economy. But it was presented clearly and strongly, and in tough times, some people responded to that. They've responded because they're hurting. And that's what our election polling showed. 68% want a raising wage agenda. 62% want to raise the minimum wage. 61% support an increase in Social Security benefits. On issue after issue, when voters really heard our message, they embraced it. In too many elections, they got a false choice. In these difficult times, they did not get a genuine economic alternative to their unhappiness and real fear of the future. In fact, when voters did have a choice, have a chance to choose their future directly through ballot measures, the decisions were unmistakable. Minimum wage increases were overwhelmingly approved. None of them lost yesterday. The same is true for paid sick leave and other parts of the raising wages agenda. Now, I was out there all fall. I was in almost every contested state, and I spoke to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of workers. And their desire for bold, comprehensive, and lasting economic change is the most real thing that I've heard. Going forward, it's pretty simple. Politicians got to be with working people rather than asking them to be with politicians.
In Alabama, the management of the Mercedes-Benz plant actually encouraged their workers to form a union. At the same time, Alabama's governor led the campaign to defeat efforts by the workers to organize with the United Auto Workers. A labor leader in Germany, home to the auto manufacturer, was asked his reaction to a governor getting into the decision that should be made by the workers.
That's what you get to when you just think in purely ideological terms. If you think in, longer-term economic development for your company, for your region, then you would go for a different kind of model. You would go for strong worker participation in companies. We have in Germany a model of co-determination at two levels, where we have works councils, that is representatives of workers in the company, which are supported by the union from the outside. And in addition, from a certain size of the company, we have board-level employee representatives who have their say in supervisory committees. And all empirical studies about the system, how co-determination, worker involvement, worker participation works, have shown that companies are more performant, are more productive, pay better wages, have higher productivity than those who haven't. Fact is that without going as far as saying that the German model is superior, it's perhaps not, but we have had very good experiences for decades that worker participation pays off both for workers and for the company in a longer perspective. It's different from a model that is based on hire and fire, non-union or union busting strategies.
The Charities Division of the Washington Secretary of State's office provides a way for you to make good choices when you're being solicited for donations. During the holiday season, you get lots of calls and mail asking you for money, and you need to know something about who's doing the asking.
This time of the year, during the holiday season and charitable solicitations are at their peak, we want the public to be cautious and be aware and to give wisely. So when you're contacted by the organizations asking for contributions, we want you to contact the Secretary of State's Charities Program and find out what you can about that solicitor and find out if they're registered with our office, as they are required to be registered by law. Many times you're contacted by a commercial fundraiser who also have to be registered with the Secretary of State, and many times you don't know that the person you're talking to on the other end of the phone is a commercial fundraiser, and they keep a large portion of your contribution. So give our office a call. You'll actually speak to a live person, and you can find out if that organization is registered and how much is going to the cause. If you can't call, you can always check online. You can enter the name of the organization and find out as well how much is going to the cause. A lot of the fraud happens during disasters, whether it's the Sandy Hook, the mudslides. People see something during a tragedy and they want to help, and that's when the fraudsters come out, because they know people want to help. We're not telling you not to give. We want people to find a passion and give when they can, what they can afford. It's the holiday season and solicitors are at their peak. Be informed, give smart, and call us if you have any questions if you're not sure. Our toll-free number is 1-800-332-4483.
Here's Ross Reeder with this month's labor history.
On December 25th, a baby was supposedly born by the name of Jesus. In all likelihood, this was not the actual day, but the winter solstice was celebrated around that time in those days. Also, astronomers know the stars weren't right at the time. But Jesus' father was a carpenter in Nazareth. Legend tells us that young Jesus learned carpentry from his father Joseph. There's a marvelous 1,500-page history called the Ancient Lowly, written in the late 19th century, which traces the founding of the Palestine Carpenters Union to about 700 years before Jesus would have joined. December was a big month for the IWW in several ways. On the 3rd, the IWW Brotherhood of Timber Workers organized in 1910. The first U.S. sit-down strike was called by the IWW at General Electric in Schenectady, New York on December 10, 1906. In Australia on December 21, 1916, they outlawed the IW. All of that, and Christmas shopping too. May you have a white Christmas with maybe 7 inches of snow, and may it be gone on Boxing Day, and the roads dry. And if you celebrate something different this time of year, may your coming new year be full of peace.
This has been Our View, brought to you by the working men and women of the Washington Federation of State Employees. We remind you, when you accept a paycheck for your hard work, you don't give up your rights. Thank you for watching, and have a peaceful holiday season. We'll see you next year.